Hmm. 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 Hmm.
This is the only guy maybe we'll get.
Gravity and thus quantize the geometry. So because Sean's framework precludes somebody saying something outside the framework, the inference is that someone ignorantly just said that gravity can be kept out of the quantum framework, which I absolutely don't say. You'll also notice that Sean did not choose to take issue with the fact that one of these is a gauge theory and the other one isn't a gauge theory, and so that there is a problem with gauging gravity and what that means, and the fact that we're getting no actual progress in the harmonization of gravity with the quantum.
Bro, seriously? Earth is being
Physics. The current group of people doesn't know any
abstraction.
throughout our relationship. He's also extremely nasty, but I really appreciate the civility. Number assignments are for the two families that are luminous that have yet to be seen. I have no idea, because Sean also proudly says is that he hasn't looked at it and hasn't read it. That's why he says that there are no Lagrangians in it. I have no idea where Sean gets this stuff.
Oh, so like that was a direct confrontation. But why not be more concise? You don't have to pad it with all this extra bullshit. So there were Lagrange. I don't even know what it means to have a Lagrangian. But
Gonna climb today, Bruce. I plan on climbing today, Bruce. No bullshit.
Active camo. Inbound. Active camo. Life expectancy shortened.
Grab that bandit.
Precision objective.
God, I'm hitting every
achieved.
shot, boys. Fucking world star in the account.
No scope.
I mean, that's just nasty what I just did there.
Galactic holiday.
Actually disgusting what I did.
Killing spree.
Jesus, blanks?
In my sights.
Alert. Translocator. Available soon.
Oh my. Tunnel vision, not the ass. To be fair, it was kind of weird there was another guy B. Like, what the hell?
Off the rack. Active camo. Inbound. Active camo available. S7 sniper inbound.
Grab that S7 sniper.
S7 sniper available.
Halfway to victory.
Collapsing on me just... Oh my god, I hate when I have snipe and my entire team plays passive. Just giving them free
S7
reign to
sniper
push me.
here.
Translocator in transit.
Target spotted.
Translocator requisition.
Okay. That poor guy.
Enemy there.
Life expectancy shortened.
Target spotted.
Fuck.
We got
Active
camo.
camo available.
Nearing victory. Target spotted.
Dude, this audio is terrible.
Enemy there. Enemy field down. We've lost a teammate.
Power items have shipped. Power items for pickup.
In my sights.
Sniper.
Victory. Steak-tacular.
Did he have these Lagrangians at his paper, I guess, and Sean didn't grapple with that, or we'll hear what Sean says, I guess.
Sean is insistent that the idea that somehow I am not choosing to go through the usual channels and instead talking as he is right now via YouTube is somehow significant when I've just given talks in 3 different countries on dark energy. And by the way, every time I talk about talking about this, somebody is telling me don't talk about the fact that you're actually in a physics department. And what I'm trying to tell you is I give talks in physics departments, I hang out with physics colleagues, I'm welcomed at places like the Institute for Advanced Study, MIT, et cetera, et cetera. And yet, I have to deal with this nonsense. I talk to both physics colleagues. You know, right now you've got a giant problem called something called DESI or DESI, the Dark Energy, what is it, Spectroscopic Instrument, which is at the moment going after Einstein's.
Earn the most kills to win. Then contact the authorities. Exercise projectile application. Warning. Bullets.
Enemy there.
What happened to the snipe? Oh my god.
Target spotted.
Kids just get such insane tunnel vision, it's crazy. I don't like this. I'm just gonna keep doing my part here and spawn killing. Just curious how my nade didn't fucking destroy him right there, but alright. Guess I'll move on.
Target.
Life expectancy shortened. I see a puddle.
That was fun.
Shall I call for cleanup? Shot caller.
That nade doesn't kill him.
Power items have shipped.
Oh god, they're gonna might spawn on me.
Your power items are ready for pickup.
Do not want them to spawn on me. That would be bad.
Successfully delivered.
What was that?
Powerful munitions en route.
Halfway to victory.
One shot there.
Power weapons available for social distance.
Killing spree.
These games are just blowouts, man. Like, the matchmaking sucks. Granted, I'm playing extremely well, but it's still crazy.
Extreme distance.
Wow, that's a bad miss.
Victory.
Wow.
unwanted cosmological constant. That is not a constant. The dark energy is not a constant term. That is the only term that you can put into the Einstein field equations, because of the Einsteinian curvature satisfies an automatic differential equation called divergence free. So if you have another term in the equation, it has to have the same property. There's only one known automatic equation, which is that the metric of Einstein that creates space-time is annihilated by its own Levi-Civita connection. And Sean, you're misrepresenting things, because I'm going to give a formula for the dark energy. I do all sorts of things that you have no idea of, because your attitude, which you repeat in other podcasts, and I highly advise you to spend more time in your physics department and less time on YouTube, is that this is not a serious thing. Nobody's taking it seriously. And your misportrayal of the situation is nearly constant for reasons.
Just another expression of the culture of victimhood. He is dying on this hill because he's convinced he's a special genius, but really just a mediocre physicist who doesn't have a good theory. Yeah, he will go to the grave, like, repeating all of the exact same things he's doing now. This is one of my biggest fucking fears in life, is having some belief or theory, and you're so obstinate and you're so resistant to change and you're so unwilling to introspect or change on it that you just go to the grave believing in the same thing. And then, I don't know, on your deathbed you realize, like, oh fuck, I was wrong about this thing 45 years ago that I've dedicated my fucking entire life to pushing. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's like a horror movie for an individual, but
that completely elude me.
Sean? The good news is I have read Eric's paper. Here it is. I actually have it here, right here.
uh-oh.
And it's worse than you would think. You know, it just very quickly, it starts off by saying the author is not a physicist and is no longer an active academician, but is an entertainer and host of a podcast. This work of entertainment is a draft work in progress, and it may not be built upon. So we're not allowed to think about Eric's theory and write a follow-up paper about it.
I know you're very much allowed,
contradiction
Sean.
to everything
But
that is
Eric's about to
normally
cry.
done in scientific discourse. You hope that people build upon your theories. You don't try to prevent them. Then later on, it says,
Sean,
this
people built
document is an
upon my
attempt to begin
theories.
recovering.
He's about to cry. Oh my god.
Why the fuck is nobody talking about how they just removed?
Out to seize the enemy.
Oh my god, I'm getting fucking wrapped around by the team.
Abundant skill detected.
Oh my god. Well, some really bad rockets for me, but really good movement from that guy, so I guess both things can be true at once.
Suited for high visibility.
Never walk in front of a sniper. It's just the first thing you learn.
Extreme distance. Calculated.
Like, these shots are much harder than they would be on controller. My whole team's dead!
Overshield inbound.
In my sights. Lock your field.
Overshield. Hey. Warning. Bullets.
Jesus, kid fought back. That's impressive.
Celebration.
Killing
god, they're all pushing me. Fuck. One of them quit. Like, oh my god, Slayer is so like uncompetitive, man. I've made 3 teams rage quit already. Like, they have a snipe? What the fuck?
Dynamo grenades acquired.
Victory!
I'm going to read this. This document is an attempt to begin recovering a rather more complete theory, which at this point is only partially remembered and stitched together from old computer files, notebooks, recordings, and the like, dating back to as far as 1983. And this is why this paper is not going to appear in the peer-reviewed literature. It's not serious. It's a dog ate my homework kind of thing. If you have a dark matter thing, if you have a dark matter prediction, if you have a dark energy prediction.
How dare you, Sean? How dare you, Sean?
If you have a dark matter thing, if you have a dark matter theory, it's a dog ate my homework kind of thing. If you have a dark matter thing, if you have a dark matter prediction, if you have a dark energy prediction, I want to see a plot.
Hold on, wait. They kind of moved it.
Holy shit.
Listen, I read something in chat. Wait, so does Eric Weinstein think that he or somebody else like had figured all of these things out in the 80s, but like the answer was lost, and he's like trying to cobble back together the lost knowledge of what he or other physicists used to know or something? Is that Destiny? Yeah. Okay. All right. Based.
If you have a dark matter thing, if you have a dark matter
dare
prediction,
you.
if you have a dark energy prediction, I want to see a plot in the paper. I want to see redshift versus
Sean,
distance. I want to see a calculation of a relic abundance so I can figure out how much dark matter is supposed to be. If you do that,
Sean.
people will pay attention to the theory. It's very possible.
Sean, first of all,
Sean.
how dare you?
How dare
Second
you.
of all, if you're going to go
How dare
by the
you read your
standards
paper?
of the first of all,
That
Sean's
people
eyes
will
are-
pay attention to the theory. It's very possible.
Sean, first of all, how
Sean.
dare you?
How dare
Second of all, if you're going to go
How
by
dare
the
you read your
standards of the No, Sean, how dare you cast shade and aspersions of the kind that I wouldn't seek to cast on you, but I will now.
Remember, Sean Carroll's a big boy published physicist. And not like published like 1 or 2 random papers. I don't think he's like a field industry or not industry. Like a I think so, actually, I think some of the stuff he worked on was like leading in the field. Like people built upon it for other things. He's a big boy publisher. Let me just put it that way. It's not like, oh, I have a PhD thesis that's published. He's like a big boy publisher. He's like published real work. I don't know. I think he said he's active right now as a professor. Like he knows his shit really well. This is not a guy who like was like a Dr. Robert Malone who published 1 paper on mRNA vaccines 30 years ago and now thinks he's like the fucking expert, the bee's knees on everything. This is a big boy physics guy. He's been cited over 30,000 times. Okay. He's a professor at Johns Hopkins. Or Johns Hopkins? Okay.
No, Sean, how dare you cast shade and aspersions of the kind that I wouldn't seek to cast on you, but I will now.
Okay.
I'm not seeking your favor, nor do I need to seek your approval. As you know, you failed to gain tenure.
I do not need your approval. You literally want people to review your paper. You need the field to engage with your work. How are you going to sit here and say, I don't need you? Well, isn't that what you were complaining about? Is that you don't have any serious engagement or critical engagement with your work? Although apparently he does. He just doesn't want to engage with the engagement. But
Nor do I need to seek your approval. As you know, you failed to gain tenure at the University of Chicago. You're not highly regarded in the field. And again, I'm only returning the shade in which you just yourself cast. I wouldn't have done this otherwise. You then spent time as a non-tenured faculty at Caltech, and you only gained tenure in a non-standard
Just left us.
professorship. You're not a leading person in the field. My belief structure about this is that you imagine that I'm coming to you saying, "Oh, Sean Carroll, tell me which graph I should do so that I can please you." As you know, because you've read the paper, what you said about Lagrangians is false. What you said about predictions is false. My concern is what you did is that you seized upon something where people have built on my ideas since 1994. The equations that Natty Seiberg and Ed Witten introduced that took over the world were called the insufficiently nonlinear equations when I was at Harvard in 1987 and introduced them. The question is why appear as an entertainer rather than as a physicist? First of all, neither you nor I are trained as physicists, Sean. You're actually trained as an astronomer. What you have in this situation is that you and I are both interloping in a field that is not the one to which we trained. That doesn't bother me about what you're doing. I've enjoyed some of your papers. I've thought very poorly of others. You have a wide range of interests. I think you're very creative. Your intellectually insulting aspect reminds me of you as the Marie Antoinette of theoretical physics influencers. I'm not here to please you. You know that there are tables in the document that you're reading that have plenty of predictions. You know that it solves plenty of problems. What you are doing is creating an environment of fear where every university worries, what does it mean to talk to this person? And what I would say to you is you are commenting on the effect that you are in fact inducing. You and a small cadre of people.
Earn the most kills to win. Then contact the authorities.
Tango's closing in.
Hey!
In my sights.
What in the... I don't like that, because I did all the work to get that snipe, and he just wants to grabs it.
Inbound.
It doesn't feel good.
Enemy there.
Active camo available. Warning. Bullets.
I mean, it's just like... The problem with the pistol is that you press the trigger, and this is a thing on mouse only, but you press the trigger so fast because of the fire rate, and those little presses are actually affecting my aim because it's moving my mouse a little bit every time.
In my sights.
Alert. Translocator. Available soon. Translocator. Available for acquisition. Active camo. Inbound. Active camo available.
Enemy there.
Bullets. Successfully delivered. S7.
Double kill.
One in five.
Shot caller.
Target spotted. Down there.
This is the weirdest. What is happening, dude?
Victory.
Translocator is on the way.
It's like they're. I just feel like I'm playing complete and utter noobs that have really good shots.
Excellent precision.
Perfect. Double kill.
Enemy there. Stay mobile. In my sights. Enemy there.
Active camo. Inbound. Active camo available.
See, like, I just don't quite understand why I spawn and being looked at by that guy.
Nearing victory.
In my sights.
Like, come on, surely there's a better spawn. Just on back tower, for instance.
Enemy there.
Bullets. Successfully delivered.
God damn, dude. God damn, I'm starting to get pissed. These little peons want my ass. See, like, okay, there's something wrong with the game, and also something wrong with the fact that that could anticipate me to be looking at him up front. Like, everything is a little fucking weird right now, I'm not gonna lie.
In my sights.
Please collect your power items. Please remain calm.
Double kill.
See, and the fact that there are two guys after my double kill looking right at me, it just screams bizarre to me. It just screams it.
Victory.
Are like border collies of physical sciences, casting shade and aspersions on those who are succeeding where the quantum-gravity, string-theoretic, and M-theoretic programs are failing.
Sean? Look, I mean, I didn't say anything about Eric as a person, his history, or anything like that. I said things about the paper.
Identify so strongly with their ideas that when you attack the ideas, they view it as like a personal attack. This happens a lot in debate. Like when you have to be very careful, if you care about the other person's feelings, how you talk about some types of ideas, because people, they become like part of their identity, basically. They're no longer defending ideas, they're defending like extensions of themselves. So it's funny that he's like, this paper, fails to address, these particular things and it's missing that and that. And then Eric's response is like, okay, well, your dick is 2 inches long, and I fucked your mom. So now what, right? Now we've both insulted each other. And it's like, well, that's not really the same. That's not really the same thing. but okay.
Theoretic and M-theoretic programs are failing.
Sean? Look, I mean, I didn't say anything about Eric as a person, his history, or anything like that. I said things about the paper. everything he says about me is like 90% true, as many things he says. The paper is not giving us any reason to think that this approach is promising. There is no quantum mechanics in the paper. There's no attempt at showing that this solves any of the known problems of quantum gravity. Again, it's not just about Eric, it's about anyone. If you want to make an impact on the physics research community, you have to give them a reason to think that what you do is promising.
Sean, you have a serious problem with dark energy that you're developing, and it's going to go right through having being a problem with lambda CDM to eventually being a problem with the Einstein field equations.
I also, this is just a heuristic, and it might not be, it's just a heuristic, okay? So it's not like determinative of like whether a person is stupid or not, but anytime people ramble off on random other points constantly, people do it in interpersonal fights as well, right? Somebody will say something like, I wanted pizza today, and I told you what kind of pizza I wanted, and then you brought back, the wrong type of pizza. And then somebody's like, well, when you texted me, you didn't specify, and then I asked you didn't respond. And they're like, okay, like your mom says that you have problems when she asks for stuff, and, the cars needed an oil change for like 6 months. It's like, this is, wait.
This might be a good moment to bring up this idea that has been circulating recently, brought up by Daryl Cooper, who hyperbolically stated that Churchill was the, quote, chief villain of the Second World War. To give a good faith interpretation of that, I believe he meant that Churchill forced Hitler to escalate the expansion of Nazi Germany beyond Poland into a global war. So Churchill is the one that turned this narrow war, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Poland, into a global one. Is that accurate?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, not least because the decisions over Poland were made by Chamberlain's government, not when Churchill was out of government. So, Churchill wasn't even involved in that decision-making process at the time. No, I don't think so. I mean, again, I go back to kind of Britain's position in the world in 1939. If you say we are going to defend the sovereignty of Poland and then you don't, that looks really bad globally. Britain's prestige would plummet, would lead to all sorts of problems. You are saying that you're giving carte blanche to dictators to just run amok and take whatever territory they want. You are risking the future upheaval of the global order, away from democracies into the hands of dictators. In the West, people believe in democracy and believe in advancement of freedoms of people. This is, to echo the words of Roosevelt in August 1941, they're aspiring to a world free of want and fear. Now, obviously, there's still some issues with the form that democracy takes in the 1930s. It's not democratic for everyone. Try saying that if you're in Nigeria or India or whatever, or if you're, in the black southern states of the United States. But the aspirations are there, and I think that's that's an important distinction. And I think by saying that Churchill is the chief warmonger of the Second World War, I think is ludicrous. You know, it's the same thing about the bombing. You know, the detractors of Strategic Air Campaign always go, yeah, but you know, Germans had the Holocaust, but weren't the Allies just as bad, just killing all those civilians? It's like, no, because the moment Hitler stopped the war, the bombing would stop. You know, the moment the war stopped in Hitler's favor, the killing would continue and be accelerated.
So the thing you mentioned initially is the sort of the idealist perspective of, well, Britain can't allow sort of this warmonger to break all these pacts and be undemocratic, you know, murder a large number of people and do conquest of territory. Okay, that's idealistic, but if we look at the realist perspective, what decisions would minimize the amount of suffering on the continent in the next 50 years? So one of the arguments that he's making, I happen to disagree with it, to put it mildly, is that Churchill increased the amount of suffering. So Churchill's presence and decisions. So we're not talking about idealistic perspective. We're talking about realistic, the reality of the war, of Stalin, of Hitler, of Churchill, of France and FDR. Did Churchill drag Hitler into a world war? Did he force Hitler to invade the Soviet Union? Did he force Hitler to then attack Britain?
Well, no, because Hitler was always going to invade the Soviet Union, unless the Soviet Union invaded Germany first. So that was always going to happen. No one asked Hitler to invade the Low Countries and Norway and Denmark and attack Britain. He does that, of course, because he's not given a free hand in Poland. But there's no question that Hitler would have also wanted to subdue France, or certainly turn France from a democracy into a totalitarian state as well. I'm absolutely certain about that.
So I think there's pretty definitive evidence. I mean, it's obvious from everything he's said, from everything he's written, from everything, everywhere, that he was going to invade the Soviet Union, no matter what. And France, most likely, yes, also.
He would have done a deal with Britain. Britain could have coexisted.
So actually, there is a possible reality. I don't know. Maybe you can correct me on this. Where Hitler basically takes all of Europe except Britain.
Yes, but then he would have got so strong that he would have then turned on Britain as well. You know, because he would. You know, the fear is that if you let him do this, then he gets greedy. He wants the next one. Then he wants the next one. Then he wants the next one, and you know, then he wants to take over the whole world. You know, that is the fear of the British. That is the fear of the Americans. That's the fear of President Roosevelt, who's got we haven't even touched on this yet, but he has a very difficult case on his hands, because he's come into power also in January 1933 as President of the United States on an isolationist ticket, with a retrenching, with a kind of sort of, you know, step away from the European old order. It's time for the Europeans to start on their own. It all sounds very familiar right now. And suddenly he's got to do this gargantuan political volte-face and prepare the nation for war, because he also fears, like Churchill fears, like Chamberlain feared as well, that Hitler's designs are not purely on Eastern Europe and the Lebensraum there, but would get ever bigger. And I don't doubt that they're right. I think if he'd prevailed in the Soviet Union, you know, he'd always wanted more, you know, because his whole concept is the master race, you know.
Yeah, I think it should be said, if we measure human suffering, if there was not Britain on the other side, if it was not a two-front war, that the chances of Hitler succeeding in the Soviet Union is much higher, or at least a more prolonged war, and there would be more dead,
yes,
more enslaved, and more tortured, and all of this.
Yes, and ditto if if the Allies hadn't got involved against Imperial Japan, you know, it would have been catastrophic. I mean, 20 to 30 million Chinese dead anyway, you know, with American and British intervention. what's it going to be in China without that? I mean, and elsewhere, because the reason why Japan invades French Indochina, now Vietnam, and Hong Kong, and Malaya, and Singapore, and so on, and Burma, is because it's not winning in China, and it needs more resources because it's resource poor, and America has cut off the tap. So it's going into these countries to get what it needs. It's rubber and oil and natural resources and ores, precious ores, and all the rest of it. And if it had been unchecked, it would have done so. And then it would have absolutely built up its strength and overrun the whole of China with even more deaths. So, I think one of the interesting things about the Second World War is lots of wars and why people get involved in them are extremely questionable. But I think there is a moral crusade to the Allies and what they're doing that I think is entirely justified. What I think is interesting also is that as the war progresses, if the Allies are supposed to be on the force of the good, how come they're doing so much bad? And at what point is doing bad stopping you from doing good? And at what point are you doing good but also doing bad at the same time? Such as destruction of cities, destruction of monasteries on outcrops in southern Italy, destruction of killing of lots of civilians, etc., etc. These are difficult questions to answer sometimes. They're also incredibly interesting, and I think that moral component starts to blur a little bit by kind of middle of the war, by 1943. It's kind of easy to have a fairly cut and dry war in North Africa, in the deserts of North Africa, where the only people getting in the way are a few sort of Bedouin tribesmen or something. But once you start getting into Europe or getting into the kind of the meat of highly populated countries in the Far East, for example, that's a different kettle of fish, because the scale of destruction is absolutely immense. But it is also the job of political leaders to look after and defend their own peoples first and foremost. And so what you're doing is you're trying to protect your own sovereignty, your own people, before you're protecting other people. And so that's what leads to, the whole way in which the Western allies are protracting war is to try and minimize the number of deaths of their own young men as much as they possibly can, whilst at the same time winning the war. And that means bringing lots of destruction to your enemy.
This could maybe be my final form. Fullness. I think Brian's really good at this. You're good at this.
I feel like I'm all right, man.
Hey, you're great.
I'm all right.
Hey.
Glad that you like it.
I love it.
Okay.
Jody's mad at me.
Jody is mad. We're gonna fix it. Yeah.
stance. He hasn't been switching a lot so far.
Let's see there. It doesn't take much like that. Look at all those fades, kind of trying to see.
Ooh, the connection or so it appeared. Mess up the range. To southpaw, that's what he's looking for.
Be very careful. He almost jumped. Not one will fight at this pace the entire time.
That kick
worked for him too. Kick.
That's a good right hand. Attack.
Really good between South.
We haven't seen people able to do Duplessis able to match. Keeping it tight. Even dating to his UFC day.
Oh, nice body shot.
Beautiful work early to the body. The round in which both men tonight. All right, here we go, round 2. Nice. I mean, the power, you see. RSM
really get a gauge.
Deep. Let's see if he can defend. He's not out of trouble yet.
On that takedown. Now, Izzy's trying to get back to his feet. Let's see. When he went to the choke, Izzy has to go, but that wrist caught on the outside.
Bro, I cannot get a fucking game on anything. What in the world? I've been searching for like 10 minutes, bro. I played like 4 games of Slayer earlier and absolutely dominated. Like, it was actually insane how hard I was fucking shit on the comp. And now I just can't get a game on anything on. I can't get a game on anything. I want to see that blue bar. Let's try doubles. Team doubles. Let's see here.
Fuck, what? Excuse me. This is not your opportunity to unload every fucking random ass complaint that you have about a person. Okay, excuse me. We're dealing with this thing. Anytime there's some type of like horizontal unloading of random shit that people do that always makes me hyper sus. Because if you believed in the strength of a particular argument that you were having, or like on a particular thing, you can bring in kind of like supporting stuff. I think that's fair. But I feel like he's done this a few times where Sean has asked him kind of a question, like, why not like center on this, whatever Sean is saying, you don't have this thing, there was no quantum mechanics, like center on a thing, instead of him being like, huh, you bring this up, but one thing you fail to realize, you will in 10 years, is that you're actually, your 10x hyper, vigilantism neo, Lagrangianian point is going to run right through your quadratian two-dimensional spheroid whole, like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, why? What is this? You're word vomiting so much. Like, he's wasted so much talking time.
I'm tired as fuck. I'm gonna try this urge for doubles.
It's
risky as hell. I'm gonna lie. Tired as
They are
fuck.
atop the space of metrics as a completely inadequate space of field content.
I'm gonna do it for you, though, boy.
Said with the aspersion you have just cast, you are simply not qualified to say. What you have said is that I have given no reason. Let me imagine that paper, which was a draft rushed to get to an April 1st date, remains in a world where Sam
He talks about his son.
Altman
He's just a deranged little psychopath.
Date. Did he have to publish for April Fools or what?
Elon Musk continued to compete for better and better AIs. What would you say if at some point those AIs then got to that paper and said, holy cow, that is exactly what we've been missing. This thing solves all sorts of problems, and the problem that we have is that a group of influencers with a penchant for being, and this is becoming one of my least favorite words, although I didn't have any negative association until recently, debunkers. That passed, you are simply not qualified to say. What you have said is that I have given no reason. Let me imagine that paper, which was a draft rushed to get to an April 1st date, remains in a world where Sam Altman and Elon Musk continue to compete for better and better AIs. What would you say if at some point those AIs then got to that paper and said, holy cow, that is exactly what we've been missing. This thing solves all sorts of problems, and the problem that we have is that a group of
What is this answer? You think my paper is bad? What if in the future an AI goes to the paper and it's not bad? Like what?
Influencer.
Let's ask Grok. Let's ask Grok what he thinks about the paper. Like, really? That's the answer we're going? Okay.
With a penchant for being, and this is becoming one of my least favorite words, although I didn't have any negative association until recently, debunkers. The problem, Sean, is that you and I are naturally allied on almost everything. We're not very far apart.
He keeps saying this, we're not very far apart. That doesn't matter, though. You're talking about the things you disagree on now, not the things you agree on. So I don't know why he keeps saying this over and over again.
Don't disagree with the standard model. I think the standard model is the most beautiful piece of differential geometry before it becomes theoretical physics. But one of the things that you just said is that it's a classical field theory that is not quantized. As you well know, there was a revolution in the 1970s, which said...
Bro, your paper came out how many years ago? Yeah, he says he rushed to publish it. You can update it, or you can publish a response, or you can amend it, can't you? It's not like it's in a real journal and you don't have access to it anymore. Isn't it just like a fucking PDF on your website, no? Like, just change it or add to it. The fuck?
Said that we blew Hamiltonian analysis, and that in fact every phase space carrying a symplectic form can be treated
another one of these things. Okay, another one of these rambles. Okay.
Locally, as if that symplectic form is the curvature of a line bundle, and the L2 sections of that line bundle form a Hilbert space, and the P and Q coordinate functions can be promoted to operators. It said that
I can't believe that people I don't know what he just said, but like I can't believe people listen to this and think that there's like some profound shit being said here. Like that people can't just immediately see through this. Like, why are you just rambling on some crazy shit that none of us can follow? Like, what? What is the purpose of this?
What you get when you stop grape juice from becoming vinegar. And in fact, Hamiltonian analysis is what happens when you take a physical problem and you stop it from quantizing itself. That was one of the great errors of our time, that Hamiltonian analysis was actually pointing the way to saying that most classical problems contain the seeds of their own quantization. You know all this stuff, and I know this stuff. We know the same people. We probably can work in the same notation. My guess is that if you and I got over whatever this bizarre tension is between us and buried the hatchet, my guess is that after 2 days you'd say, boy, I really just didn't understand what he was saying.
You had all this time to talk to Sean about what you were saying. You could have, this could have been a super interesting debate slash conversation. Where you're like, hey, you claim that I haven't done A, B, or C. You know, let's dig into A, B, or C. Let's go. But it's not. It's just this opining on your victimhood and attacking Sean and crying that he doesn't agree with your paper and crying that, you know, he's being critical of your paper. Like, you just wasted this whole fucking show.
That's right.
I hope you all are doing well. We are in the gym, arm wrestling practice today. The countdown is officially on to Strongest Arm on Earth, my super match versus Brandon Allen. All of the super matches, the entire Shaw Classic. We've got a lot going on, so we're going to jump into practice. I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride here, show you some behind the scenes things that I am getting up to and all of this stuff that I've got on my plate. Let's go. All right, guys, great training session there. Lifts are going up, and I still feel like I'm probably on that newbie game train, which we're gonna ride that thing for sure. But just new movements, learning the movements, feeling them, all of it coming together. So I'm feeling good about that. We got more training this week, without a doubt, but we got it in. I'm happy. You check it off as a win, and that's what these training sessions are all about. So making progress. All right, guys, fun day today. We are up in Loveland, Colorado. We've got all the planning going down for the Shaw Classic, Strongest Man on Earth, Strongest Arm on Earth, everything else. So we've got a few different meetings lined up today and plan on making some great things happen. Let's go.
Company that I bought, so I drive for them, and then ended up buying it when I came back. So awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Now I've been doing it for 13 years.
I don't know.
No.
Oh wow.
12 years. I don't know. Somewhere in that range.
We started this contest in our garage in December of 2020. I say garage, our outbuilding. It was like
kind of like where my gym
1,200 square feet. Is that what it was?
Yeah, no, 2,000, not quite 2,000.
So we emptied out it into one of those giant like shipping container type things in our driveway, and we brought 10 guys in 2020, and that was it. Filmed it and sold the video online, and that was how the contest started. We had 10 guys compete.
I've been chilling, I've been grilling, I've been feeling today. I've been feeling today.
Is where the expo where everything is going to go in the expo, how it's all going to work. So let's get in here and check it out.
I mean, I've never not been able to get a game on any playlist. This is weird. Maybe I got banned.
Inside the expo space, so this is a 2-hall setup. In the first hall, we're gonna have a lot of booths and different things going on over there. And then over in this space, we will have guest speakers. We're gonna have powerlifting. We're gonna have the arm wrestling tournament. The grip competition is gonna happen here as well. So we're trying to figure out the space and the layout and just figure out how to make it work really and be seamless. So
Hey, feel free to rewind and check out them fucking Slayer games earlier. Those shits were kind of insane. Kind of insane.
Great planning meeting there in the expo. I think we got a really good gauge of what we need to get done, which is awesome. And now we are at Shields, and this is a place that I might be doing a book signing at. So we're going to go in here, see what we can work out. They are close to our event in Loveland as well. So some type of collaboration is always good, and these people are great. So we're going to go in and see what business we can get done.
The sign-ups work well, and since they're not getting the book shipped to them, they have to come here to pick up the book. normally
Yeah, I
people
like
are they'll at least reach out to us if they haven't.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't make it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that idea where it's, you know, book plus 9 a.m. meeting, book plus 9:30 a.m. meeting, and you pick up the book
Yes,
here,
yes.
but they have to prepay.
Yep.
Because my opposite fear would be like, you commit all this time, book, etc., and you just don't know.
Yep.
You don't know,
Yep.
am I bringing too many, too little?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, in a maybe bigger term picture, like if I don't know how much you guys do in supplement sales, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like to bring undefined nutrition in, like in whatever capacity that would look like, and that then.
Yeah.
would
Do you
be-
have a full line of products?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys, back in the gym. We've got some more arm wrestling training coming up. Just got done filming a fun promo video for an appearance that I'm going to be going to, and a new retail partner of my supplement brand, Undefined Nutrition. So, getting that done. You got
Now I'm gonna
work,
check and
you
see if
got
the game is
training,
broken.
A lot of different things going on. So, I'm excited to jump into some training.
There we go.
Okay, so game's not broken. Okay.
You had it. Man, 7 months later, after our super match, and I have to use 3 of these dang things to do anything with this guy. It's ridiculous.
I mean, Chris, if you would have had these
Slay.
new Provite vitamin packs.
Hoo-ha, hoo-na. Killing him, filling the bajar. Hoo-ha, hoo-na. Billing and willing until we cry. Killing the 5-5-5. Killing the 5-5-5. Milling the 5-5-5. Chilling the chop-chop-chop. I think this game's population is too diluted. Like, why are there like 1,000 quick play playlists? Like, we just need ranked snipers, ranked doubles, ranked arena, social slayer type shit.
Great shot, sniper.
My team's too good, bro.
Short counter snipe double kill.
Nope, they're not this way, Huss. I'm bored.
Enemy there.
Team Snipers literally has 0 skill. I hate how the primary zoom goes in and blocks your entire screen. It goes in that far. not having fun. I'm not having like. Just not having a good time playing this.
Lost the lead.
Dude, like, there are too many spots to clamber.
No. No scope.
This map is a mess, man. Way too detailed. Every time I jump right there, I get fucking blamed from that kid.
No scope. Counter snipe. Double kill.
Nice shot.
Enemy halfway to victory.
So yeah, it's just pure luck. Like the kid walks in there, shoots a shot, and gets a free blame. He didn't have to aim. No skill. Yeah, this kid's going straight. I'm gonna put this kid's face in the fucking dirt and then stomp on it repeatedly. We're gonna lose because I have a guy going 3-9 by the way. Oh my god, I hate Halo! I would love to have the 1v1 playlist back, actually, on times like this. I love how this is the only thing I can get a game in.
Victory. No scope. Double kill. Killing spree. Counter snipe.
I mean, where the fuck are these kids?
Life expectancy short.
This map is way too detailed. Holy shit.
The lead. Five minutes remaining. Victory!
Scrap is so dumb. Give me game. Give me game. Give me game. Thanks, man.
You know what? I would
nothing,
love that.
Nothing. Oh, shh. Nothing to it, bro.
Be the case, and maybe you guys can make that happen. Talking of dark energy, a little bit of dark energy has crept into this debate.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and end on a slightly lighter note, and these will require much shorter responses. Just want to see whether you guys, I mean, as you said, Eric, you agree about a lot of stuff. Do you agree about
most things?
Yeah, most things. I want to ask whether you agree about some of these fundamental things, which have struck me as interesting about where we are. Professor Stephen Hawking, I did the last television interview that he ever gave before he died. He said that the biggest threat to mankind was if artificial intelligence
Is it just like how Elon talked about software? No, there are different types of bullshitting. If I had to guess, I'm guessing here. I truly am guessing. My guess is that Eric Weinstein is not saying incorrect stuff.
I'm taking a nap. Holy shit, I'm tired. I'll see you in a little bit.